let me just, we can't talk about the big picture that you have created without talking about the small picture first.
Right.
Let me just ask you the question in simple terms again, because you've sent mixed signals over the years. Are you an African-American woman?
I identify as Black.
You identify as Black. Let me put a picture up of you in your early 20s, though. And when you see this picture, is this an African-American woman, or is that a Caucasian woman?
That's not in my early 20s, but
That's a little younger, I guess. You began identifying yourself as African-American?
I was drawing self-portraits with the brown crayon instead of the peach crayon, and the black, black curly hair, and yeah, that was how I was portraying myself.
So it started way back then, Rachel. When did you start? And I'll use the word, you can correct me if you don't like it. When did you start deceiving people and telling them you were Black when you knew their questions were pointed in a different direction? When someone said to you back then, are you Black or white? And you'd say, I'm Black. You didn't say, I identify as Black. You'd say, I'm Black. When did you start deceiving people?
Well, I do take exception to that because it's a little more complex than me identifying as Black or answering a question of, are you Black or white? I was actually identified when I was doing human rights work in North Idaho as first transracial, and then when some of the opposition to some of the human rights work I was doing came forward and started, the next newspaper article identified me as being a biracial woman, and then the next article, when there were actually burglaries, nooses, etc., was this is happening to a Black woman, and I never corrected.
Well, why didn't you correct it? Your parents were asked this question this week, and they didn't have any trouble answering it. Here's what they said. She's clearly our birth daughter, and we're clearly Caucasian. That's just a fact. Your father went on to say she's a very talented woman doing work she believes in. Why can't she do that as a Caucasian woman, which is what she is? How do you answer that question?